This is a guide on how to install and use the CIS ValiData. Here is an outline of what we will cover in this video. So, why the ValiData? The credit information sharing mechanism in Kenya has 3 operational credit reference bureaus. Each credit provider must share their data with all CRBs to ensure a 360-degree view of their data. This data is formatted based on a standardized manual known as the Data Specifications Template. While the mechanism has recorded significant successes and milestones since its inception, the data submission process has not been as efficient. This process has been a relatively tedious process to credit providers, having to use separate portals from each CRB to upload the data. This is prone to human error that would result in differing datasets at each bureau. On the other hand, the data validation processes by the bureaus yield different results from the same dataset, causing confusion on the state of their data quality. To remedy this, CIS Kenya, in liaison with various CIS stakeholders, agreed to develop a tool that will verify the quality of their data before submission and subsequently submit the data to the CRBs by a click of a button. This solution is called the CIS ValiData. The CIS ValiData conforms to the provisions of the CRB Regulations 2020. In summary, therefore, the purpose of the CIS ValiData is to A. Validate your credit data extracts based on the Data Specification Template and validation rules. B. Subsequent submission of your credit data extracts to the licensed credit bureaus by a click of a button. And C. Enable ease in monitoring of data quality. The CIS ValiData is installed on a computer at the credit provider's premise. CIS Kenya provides the access credentials. Each credit provider receives unique access credentials that identify them at the CRBs. The credit provider also receives credentials from the CRBs that securely links their ValiData installation to the CRB systems. This is an encrypted point-to-point link from the credit provider to the CRB systems. Please note, a third-party credit information provider will only receive credentials from the CRBs to which prior CBK approval has been obtained. Once the setup is complete, a credit provider will use the ValiData to check the quality of their credit data extracts and submit the data to the credit bureaus by a click of a button. CIS Kenya acts as an administrator of the CIS ValiData with no access to the data transferred between the credit provider and the CRBs. However, CIS Kenya will receive high-level statistics on the data submitted. The CIS ValiData can be installed either as a server edition or a desktop edition. Here are the steps to a successful installation. Check the minimum hardware requirements to install the ValiData. For server installation, ensure you have at least 6 GB of storage, at least 4 GB of RAM, at least one CPU clocking 1.3 GHz, and a virtualization software, e.g. VMware. For the desktop edition, ensure you have at least 500 MB of storage, at least 2 GB RAM, at least one CPU clocking 1 GHz, and a virtualization software, e.g. VM VirtualBox. Download the CIS ValiData from the CIS Kenya website and VM VirtualBox from the Oracle website and install. After installing the VM VirtualBox, go to File, click Import Appliances, then choose the ValiData OVA file that you have just downloaded from CIS Kenya's website. Click Next, and then select Import. When the importing process is complete, whitelist all the URLs and ports which are required to run the ValiData edition. If you are running the desktop version, the following port should be open: port 6379 and port 19774. For server version users, the following ports need to be open: port 6379, port 19771, port 19773, and port 19774. After whitelisting is done, go to the VM VirtualBox window and click Start. After starting the VM, navigate to the browser and type https://localhost:19774. The initial setup page will be displayed. Use the credentials issued to you by CIS Kenya to finalize the setup. During the setup, you will be required to verify your institution using an email verification token as shown. Finally, set up your password and you are good to go. Once the setup is complete, enter your email and password and log in. You will be directed to the dashboard. To start up the system, open your Virtual Manager and select the ValiData CIP virtual machine install. Click on the Start button to power up the virtual machine. A script will run. Once you notice the CIP VM login prompt, the system is up and running. Open up a browser on your computer and type https://localhost:19774. Log in with your email and password that you had set during the setup process. To shut down the system, first log out of the system. Then click on the Close button of the virtual machine. On the prompt, select Power off the machine and click OK. The system will shut down. On the side navigation, click on Upload Files. The subscriber is automatically set to your institution code. Then, select the files you want to validate. The system will then automatically validate the file loaded as per the set rules. Please note, the validation first checks if the name of the file is compliant with the naming convention. If you get a failed status as shown, check that you have named the file as required. Otherwise, click on the Upload button. The status will show uploaded, which means the validation process on the file is ongoing. To check the status of the validation process, click on the View Files menu option on the side navigation. You will see all files that are being validated. Check the success rate column to ensure that your data meets the required submission threshold. To view the error log, click on the file name. You can choose to download a CSV version of the error logs by clicking the Download CSV button. Once you have corrected errors in the file, repeat this validation process. For advanced analysis, navigate to the Error Log Reports page by clicking on the Error Logs in the Reports section of the left-hand side navigation. The Error Log Reports dashboard shows summaries and graphs for the important parameters for all error logs generated in the system. The submission process. First, we will need to set up CRB profiles within the ValiData. Click on the Settings menu option on the sidebar. Scroll down to the CRB profile section. Add the details as issued to you by each CRB and then click on the Create button. Click on the View Files menu on the sidebar. Select the validated files you wish to submit by clicking on the checkbox on the left of the file name, or click on the checkbox on the left of the table header to select all the files. If the validation files meets the minimum threshold, once you select the file, the Submit button will become active. Clicking on the Submit button will upload all the selected files to all CRBs. You can also click on Advanced option to submit to a specific CRB. The system administrator can create and manage roles for users in the system. Navigate to the Users page from the sidebar menu. To create a user, click on the plus button at the top right of the panel. To add roles to a user, click on the Add Roles button. Select the role and tenant, that is the CIP, from whom the user will perform the given role. One user can have multiple roles for multiple tenants. To remove a role, click X next to the specific user role. There we go. We hope that this guide has provided insights on the CIS ValiData and its functions, the installation process, the validation of credit data extracts, and the concurrent submission to the bureaus. Feel free to contact CIS Kenya for further information.